Jobs UFC fighters had before fame. The UFC has a selection of the best fighters from around the world. But just like every superstar from other industries, our UFC icons also have their own story. And sometimes it is not as lovely as we think. Is it true that all of them had a humble beginning? What jobs did our mixed martial artists have before fame? Stay tuned and keep on watching to find out. 10. Conor McGregor. If there is any story that fits into the grass to grace niche, it is that of Conor McGregor. The former UFC champion came from a poor background and struggled to get where he is today. McGregor was busy fixing toilets for people before he discovered his talent in fighting, and thankfully, he could distinguish himself at it. The fight that made McGregor a rich man was the bout with Floyd Mayweather. This money fight earned him a total of 100 million USD. Today, McGregor drives supercars, travels in private jets, and wears expensive watches. Although McGregor has not competed since July 2021, when he broke his leg in a fight against Dustin Poirier, he is still a force to reckon with in the MMA world. He is a multimillionaire and was the highest paid athlete in 2021. 9. Paige VanZant. From having a troubled childhood to being a renowned UFC fighter and wrestler with an OnlyFans account, Paige VanZant started out as a dancer and was later featured in a commercial for cleaning supplies. VanZant was sexually assaulted at the age of 14, and it led to even more bullying from her peers. During this period of her life, VanZant considered taking her own life. To start afresh, she changed her name from Slatton to VanZant. She got into MMA when she stumbled on a gym owned by the fight icon Ken Shamrock. After a series of training and some amateur bouts, VanZant got signed into UFC in 2014. Her debut fight was against Kaylin Curran. VanZant left the UFC in 2020 after losing to Amanda Ribas. She has since dabbled into BKFC and recently joined the All Elite Wrestling. 8. George St Pierre. GSP is another fighter that wasn't born with a silver spoon. When he was 17, he had to keep 3 jobs to be able to pay his school fees and fund his MMA training. St Pierre worked in a government recreation center, as a bouncer in a club in Montreal, and in a floor recovery store. His story changed when he came across the UFC. St Pierre quickly became a pace setter through hard work, and was recently honored with the Hall of Famer to the Canada Sports Hall of Fame. St Pierre hung his gloves in 2019 with a record of 26, 2-0, and a 13 fight win streak. The former 2-division champion still has some records yet to be broken in the UFC. GSP held the welterweight title for 2,064 days and defended it 9 times. St Pierre has over 4 million followers on Instagram and 2 million on X, formerly Twitter. 7. Michael Bisping. Former middleweight champion and current commentator Michael Bisping had an incredible fighting career. But before he ever got here, he had to do several jobs. Bisping was born in Cyprus, and his father was a sergeant major. 2 brothers followed his father's footsteps and joined the military, but Bisping was always better at mixed martial arts. He started jiu-jitsu at 8, but never envisaged a career in it. Bisping dropped out of school, took up a job in an upholstery shop, and began training full-time in MMA. Bisping did not enjoy the job as there was no fulfillment in it for him. It was not the first job he was doing to survive. Bisping had also worked in a slaughterhouse, but had to quit. While working in the upholstery shop, Bisping became Britain's best light heavyweight. His career took a different path when featured in the 2006 UFC reality TV show Ultimate Fighter. And the rest, as they say, is history. 6. Roy Nelson. Big country. Roy Nelson has carved out a significant reputation in the MMA world. The former champion is known for his formidable power and imposing presence. Despite his prominent trucker-like appearance, few might guess he once was a substitute teacher for grade school children, focusing on 3rd and 4th grade. Nelson's ability to maintain focus and discipline in the classroom contrasts with his intimidating body frame. After teaching for a few years, he transitioned into a successful career in mixed martial arts. Nelson's UFC journey spanned from 2009 to 2017. The UFC star entered the UFC scene as a contestant on the Ultimate Fighter reality show in 2009, ultimately winning TUF 10 and reaching new heights in his MMA career after a knockout victory against Brendan Schaub. 5. Anderson Silva. Anderson, the Spider. Silva is one of the most dominant middleweights in UFC history, holding the record for the longest middleweight championship reign. Silva is a trailblazer in MMA history, leaving an indelible mark as one of the first superstars. Silva's viral knockouts captivated existing fans and drew new enthusiasts to the sport, shaping the landscape of the UFC. His legacy endures today, characterized by a rare combination of power, speed, and technique that positions him among the greatest strikers in MMA history. Before stepping into the octagon, Silva worked operating the counter for the world's largest fast food chain, McDonald's. He still enjoys these burgers, as they remind him of his humble beginnings. 4. Stipe Miocic. Two-time UFC World Heavyweight Champion Stipe Miocic has always been passionate about fighting. Although Miocic is a trained paramedic, he found himself in professional boxing before transitioning to the UFC. Alongside his fighting pursuits, he utilizes his paramedic training as a firefighter, a role he maintains in his home state of Ohio. Despite his fame and wealth, Miocic has remained committed to his firefighting job. His dual job roles haven't yet noticeably impeded his 12-year UFC journey, where he boasts a 14-4 record, including 4 successful heavyweight title defenses over 2 championship reigns. 3. Jessica Andrade. Former UFC strawweight champion Jessica Andrade's journey is marked by resilience and hard work. Like most Brazilian kids, she dreamed of pursuing a football career. She later received an offer from Sao Paulo, one of Brazil's major clubs, but her mother declined. Jessica and her brother had to work in plantation fields until the government banned it. At 14, she began working at a fish and pay pond to support herself. Later, she worked as a delivery person for a local drugstore. Not too long after, she was signed in by the UFC in 2013 and embraced it wholeheartedly. 2. Holly Holm. Holly Holm gained widespread recognition among MMA fans by famously unseating Ronda Rousey. In her illustrious MMA career, she clinched multiple championships, notably the UFC Bantamweight Championship. Before her MMA journey, Holm was a fitness instructor, a fitting role considering her impressive physical prowess. She still dedicates time to training and instructing others alongside her successful MMA journey. 1. Demetrius Johnson. As the first UFC flyweight champion, Demetrius Johnson boasts 11 successful title defenses. He fit into the position perfectly and lived up to expectations. In the early stages of his MMA journey, Johnson worked as a warehouse forklift operator, showcasing his strong work ethic. Johnson owes his mentality towards life to his mom. In an interview, he admitted that he had to work to get anything he wanted. DJ is easily one of the hardest workers in the sport. Unsurprisingly, he maintained a regular job as he embarked on his UFC career, reflecting his dedication to success inside and outside the octagon. And that wraps it up for today's video. Which of these fighters had the most touching story? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.